Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kick. Welcome to Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. Good evening, everyone. Tuesday. Good evening, everyone. I like to keep the show to about 90 minutes. Kippolicious. Be sure you get that schmedium every Tuesday night. Full tilt boogie. Kippolicious. Good evening, everyone. Twisted Tea. Good evening, everyone. Be sure you get that schmedium. Twisted Tea. Hippopotamus. Cold beverage. Schmedium. Midler. Out in BFE. Out in BFE. At the end of the day, full. Good evening, everyone. Tuesday. Full tilt boogie.
It's been a long road since the original Kicker christened that first pickup truck. It kicked off a car audio renaissance, and upgrading your music in a vehicle was a requirement. America's music machines became living loud over your passion, your emotion, your existence. Outdoors or on the open road, your sound is Kicker.
We're here at the Denso NHRA 4Y Nationals here in Las Vegas. Man, we have got two-time funny car, top fuel champion, Cruz here, icon of the sport. Dude, we just so appreciate you taking the time. But I got to ask you, so we know in 1986 you were driving go-karts, and a year later you're in a dragster. What made that change of going from wanting to do, track racing to running down straight track racing?
I started out with something I could afford, so there was a little dirt track, or a few dirt track races in Southern California that I started racing. Like I said, I could afford it. They're still expensive, but I always had my eye on drag racing. So I caught the eye of an owner that had a low budget team, started out very humble beginnings. I basically worked for food. I worked to race for nothing. So, but I started out, you couldn't have started out further down the ladder than I did, but I'm glad I did, because I was able to parlay that into driving for a bigger team through the years, won a championship, and here we are. I own my own team. I've been in business for like 15 years now, or 20 years on my own with Snap-on and KICKER and all the great sponsors, so very exciting time.
Cruz, we know you're super passionate about what you do. We're curious, what drives you, what refuels you off the track when you're at home?
Well, I have a daughter now, so it's I just love my daughter. She's going on 8 years old, so priorities change a little bit, but I've always had this passion for racing, so much so that that's all I would do morning, noon, and night. I would think about it when I got up. I go to bed at night. Racing was my entire life, and it still is, but I share a little bit of that during the off time with my daughter Raya and my girlfriend Melissa. So, it's one of those things where the desire to perform at this level and to do it, I feel like I have my best years ahead of me. I have so much more experience than I did when I started out that I want to put that to good use. So here we are.
That's awesome. Well, man, I tell you, KICKER is super proud to be associated with you. We're blessed to be part of the team and helping out. And hey, now that we've got this killer PA system back here jamming the pits, what's that mean for you and your team and your guests and everybody in your organization?
Well, having a brand like KICKER, number one, is an honor for us, really. I know it's a brand that goes way back. Heck, we've all heard of them. So for them to be, you guys support us like you do is really an honor for us. But we want to do our part on the racetrack and put your guys' name out there. But as far as what you guys just created for us was really cool. I didn't have any idea the quality of sound with all the noise, all the race cars starting, all the voices and all the generators running, that we could still hear loud and clear the PA system. So thanks to KICKER, great product, and we have a lot of Snap-on guests that are invited to come out here as part of the customer service to say thank you to their Snap-on customers for buying the tools. So it's a great opportunity for us to speak to them but not have to yell. So they appreciate it. Like I say, the brand speaks for itself. It's quality. So we're tickled to have them.
Well, thank you so much, man. Look, after 32 some years of blasting down the track, pulling 4Gs, what keeps you pushing to do this, man?
It's amazing because you never get used to these cars. Like, my eyes still burn like everybody else. They're still loud, but they accelerate. Every run is like a new run. You never know what they're going to do, but I feel like I have a little bit less stress because I kind of know what the car is supposed to do and what it feels like to make a good run. So, like I said, as a driver, yeah, I've got a few miles on me, but I think in this sport, you can still be a little older and still be able to perform at a high level. So that's what I look at as I don't feel like I'm a deficient guy in this driver's seat. If anything, I hope I can bring something to it. But the day's going to come, hey, I'm an owner and I have a fast car. The day's going to come where, hey, I'm going to want to look at a younger driver and somebody, to replace me so I can maintain ownership and maybe tune that guy into a championship or gal, whoever. So, but it's a business. I look at it as a business. It has to make sense down the road, but I'm not looking, I'd say another 4 or 5 years in this seat, I'm good.
Hey, I know you're running tight on time. You got a last qualifying run. Again, we're blessed to be with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We love you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
See you.
low frequencies detected emanating from the heavens. Saucer-shaped objects confirmed all over the world. Unidentified flying K saucer spotted delivering Kicker's amazing new CompQ Subwoofer. Built for precision, built for abuse, built for the future and benefit of mankind. Kicker's new CompQ woofer leaves audiences astounded and amazed as it reveals subtleties in their favorite music in a way that is sure to make women blush and grown men cry. The surround features Kicker's variable cross-section high-roll design, allowing extended cone travel and excellent cone control. It's firmly attached to the cone, reinforced with our iconic stitching. Betsy Ross would be so proud. The injection-molded solo cone and laser X cone brace combined in a single ultra-rigid unit. Venting in the brace relieves performance-robbing back pressure. All this adds up to very low distortion and amazingly clean low bass. The progressive roll blue lace spider adds even more cone control at maximum excursion. The woven tinsel leads are sandwiched between the spider and the lace for durability and long life and to prosper. The spring terminal's heavy-duty square design accepts wires as big as 8-gauge or two 12-gauge wires for multi-sub installations. The high-temp voice coil is rumored to be spun upon the looms of the gods of polyamide fiberglass, along with a reinforced former for high strength and power handling. Now, add colossal magnets, plus a cavernous bump back plate, an extended pole piece created in a single forging, the likes that haven't been seen since the creation of Poseidon's trident. And the result is a driver with superior control and effective heat dissipation that extreme performance demands. The all-new KICKER CompQ is designed from the ground up to deliver everything you demand from a premium subwoofer. High output, deep, powerful, accurate bass, remarkably small enclosure requirements, stunning good looks, and not to mention the ability to frighten small children when turned up to 11. So there you have it, the all-new KICKER CompQ subwoofer, another zenith of innovation and epic majesty from KICKER.
I built my first speaker to be louder. I was playing in a band and the drummer played so loud and the keyboard that I had wouldn't play very loud, and I went to my dad and said, I need a bigger speaker. It's a Fender Bandmaster, it costs $300. He dropped the newspaper. It said, $300? Yeah, but he didn't say no. He said, is it something that we could build? And so that's how I got started building speakers. The thing that I love to see is a product that we made and get to stand back kind of anonymously and watch somebody take a look at it, listen to it, and go, wow. I think that's what really lights my fires, to make products that people enjoy and have fun with. As time went on, I heard people say, you know, Kicker's like a family. I actually didn't set out to do that. I thought it sounded kind of hokey. I thought they were insincere and just saying that. After a few years, I realized, yeah, maybe that's what we've got. And that's the key, is the good people on your team in the band that makes the band really great. Well, I think KICKER is primarily a lifestyle company. That's a little backwards of where I started. I thought we were a technology company and we would make great products, but as time went on, realized that it's about people and helping people to enjoy their life and what they do. And that's what I do, too. So share the love a little bit, I guess.
How about that? Well, you told me I had audio earlier, so I thought it was working. Hey, let's do that all over. I didn't do it. I swear I didn't. Hey, fade to black. Fade to black. Fade to black. Fade to black. 3, 2, 1. Good evening, everyone. It's Kip, your host for Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly. It's Tuesday, 7:31 Central Time, because my mic was muted. How you all doing this evening? Thanks for joining us here this evening. We've got an interesting show planned for tonight. Last year, I need to mute this laptop here. Give me just a second. I keep hearing my voice feeding back through the laptop there. We got an interesting show planned for tonight. This whole show was kicked off last year because there was no SEMA show. And so a bunch of us got together and came up with a plan where we actually introduced the entire Kicker product line that would normally just be for the people who attend SEMA. We didn't just do it that way. We announced it to the entire world. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to reach back in time just a little bit. We're going to go through all those products briefly, let you know what of those have shipped, what of those have not shipped, and we even got some more information on product in general because, as we know, this last year and a half has been an interesting roller coaster ride for everyone when it comes to product availability. So we're going to touch on the original products that were going to be released for 2021 from the SEMA show in 2020. We're going to talk about all the cool products that are currently shipping, what's out in the field, what you might find at a Kicker dealer. And if you got any questions, man, post them in the feed. We want to be able to answer those questions tonight. Anything, whether it's related to the product we're talking about tonight or anything Kicker related, we're here for you. I got Todd Rogers. What is the neon Hoppy sign about in the background? Well, I'm glad you asked that, Todd. Hoppy is one of those people, we call them partners, and they build some fantastic products for ATVs and UTVs. That's actually a demo back there of one of their audio shades is what they call it, and it's a fully integrated audio system and shade. We actually did an ATV, UTV show and went really in-depth on that with J.D. Vey from Hoppy Industries. If you're interested in that, I'd encourage you to go to our Facebook, go to the YouTube, look in the feed, and you'll find it. There's an ATV, UTV show we did probably 3 to 6 months ago would be my best guess. But we keep all these shows cataloged and in our feed, so go check it out. But that's what that Hoppy sign in the back is. They're just one of the many partners we work with that they make some fantastic, fully ready to go kits that you can use for ATV, UTV, and that happens to be one of them. So good question. Thanks for posting that up. What that means is actually Jeremy's on his game tonight. He's actually bringing some questions up. Thomas Marshall, Kip was clipping. Possibly, Thomas, possibly. Christopher St. John. But will the KX replacement have a wireless bass knob? That is the question. Why you ask me the hard questions, Christopher? I'm not going to say it will be wireless, and I'm not going to say it won't be wireless. What I will say is that I think you're going to like what comes along for the ride. How's that sound for an answer? You need to stay tuned. When we get a little bit closer where we can talk about the KX replacements, we'll go into all of those features when we can. We just can't let them quite out of the bag yet. So obviously you were paying attention last week when we talked about the amplifiers. Good to see you. Thanks for being on the show tonight. We have, for those who are new to the show, this will be information for you. Those who have been coming to the show, you already know it's old hat. We do a nightly giveaway every Tuesday night here on the show. We actually start that contest window at 7:15 Central Time. We close it at 8:30 Central Time. So just to let you know, you've got from now until 8:30, so that's just a little under an hour left for you to go enter in tonight's contest. And we will be giving away some great prizes. If we do a first, second, and third, or a grand prize, second place and third place prize. Bill likes to use the word grand prize. I call it first. That's semantics. But we do that every Tuesday night to say really thanks for all of you tuning in. We appreciate it. So if you have not entered the contest sometime between now and 8:30, please go enter, get in that contest. We'll pull the winners and we will announce them before 9 p.m. Bill will post that into the feed. He actually scrolls across the bottom of the screen. Matter of fact, I just looked. It's scrolling across the bottom right now. It's real easy. Ernie, if you don't mind, bring up my laptop as an asset real fast. I like showing this to people because we've actually had a couple people ask about this. When you go to that link, kicker.com/UMweekly, this is where you're going to land, ladies and gentlemen. And all you'll need to do is just scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see right here, all you have to do is you'll see the continue is grayed out. Just click right here. It says, I agree to join the Kicker newsletter and accept the terms and privacy policy. Boom. When you see that, now it turns green, you can click continue and you can enter the full contest. Once you do, it'll ask you for your information. You'll answer a few questions. You'll be entered in the contest. this is a double opt-in. We do ask you to accept the Kicker newsletter to get into the contest, but you're going to get an email. If you really don't want to continue to receive the Kicker newsletter communication, you can say, I don't want it. It'll opt you out, and you can come right back. We just ask you this question every week. We hope you want to get the newsletter. There's really cool things that we do inside the newsletter, but it's just a way for us to have a mechanism to get you into the contest. And so check that, hit the continue box, move on down the highway, you'll get in the contest. It's real easy. I have had one or two, I can't say it's many, I've had one or two people reach out and say that they're having difficulties entering the contest. This is what I can tell you. On our end, and for the vast majority of people, it works no problem. If you're not checking that box and it's not turning green for continue, that would be probably why you think you can't get in. If you're having any other issues beyond that, you probably have an issue with your computer, an issue with your browser, or even possibly an issue with your internet provider. But we have way too many people who have no problems with it at all. So if you do have issue, if you could provide us the information, that'd be great. In an email to social@kicker.com. Let Bill Frog know any details. But honestly, we check this stuff out pretty well, guys, and we know it works. And most of the time, it's an issue in your browser or an issue with your internet provider. So there's not enough people having the issue, so it's not a big deal, but I just like to point that out. Jerome, I'm still waiting on the reply from Kicker. If my Ford Ranger with a ZX 2400.1 or ZX 400.1 and 8-inch tube, will the Kissel or Kiss Lock be better? I ended up getting the Kiss Lock. The Kissel or the Kiss Lock? Well, Jerome, that's a really good question. You're not going to go wrong getting the Kiss Lock at all. The cool thing about the Kiss Lock is when you go through the sequence on that and set it up, it's going to remove any irregularities that are in the factory EQ curve. It's going to basically set that curve back to flat, which is really what you want. If your vehicle is a newer Ranger, I'm assuming it's going to have some equalization. Now, if we're talking about an older Ranger and you're not using the factory radio, which I'm assuming you're using the factory radio since you asked for a Kissel or Kiss Lock, the older Rangers probably don't have as much equalization or tweaking in the units. They have some, the newer ones definitely. The cool thing about the Kiss Lock is it's going to give you that strong pre-out voltage, and it's going to get rid of any of that equalization. Be sure you set up the Kiss Lock properly. You want to turn your radio up to about 3/4 volume. Make sure your bass and treble and the head unit are set flat. Run through the setup routine, let it do its thing, and then you will have a nice flat curve to feed full bass all the way down to 20 hertz to your amplifier and then onto your subwoofer. So hopefully that answers your question. If guys and gals, I know we get tons of questions here on the show, and we try to answer as many as we can, but I highly encourage you, and Bill, if you don't have it as a scrolling asset, I know you can create one back there. Understand you could reach out to our tech services anytime, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Central Time, and the number for that is 800-256-0808. And you can ask them any of these questions like you're asking here on Unmasked Live, and they will gladly take a phone call from you and answer that. If you prefer to communicate by email, it's simply support@kicker.com. Throw them an email. They do their best to reply to most emails within 24 hours. A phone call is really the quick way to do it. It's a lot easier to answer a lot of those questions on a phone call because they can actually interact with you. They can ask questions. You can ask them questions. You can actually get to the results you're looking for much, much quicker. So just keep that in mind. You can reach out to Kicker anytime, Monday through Friday, like I said, 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. And that, you can get all those questions answered. David Monroe, Kip didn't shave today. Hey, you noticed. I didn't. Stay tuned. It's going to be something interesting for that. 25 Hertz to Life. Kip, it's going to turn to a weekly question, brah. What was for dinner before the show? All right, good question. We usually talk about that, but I'll let you know. Tonight, we decided to do rib crib. Jeremy said he was kind of in the mood for salad. I was kind of in the mood for salad. Ernie said he was kind of in the mood for salad, so they have this kind of chicken explosion salad or something like that. So I got the chicken explosion salad. It had some kind of cheesy wrap thingy with it. And then, of course, chicken wasn't enough. I had to add some turkey to go with it. So I had chicken and turkey on a salad. Ernie and I and JW had that. And then, of course, Tim and Bill, they had to go for some meat platter. It had like 4 different or 5 different kinds of meat in it. And that all came from Rib Crib. So thanks, boss. Thanks, Steve Irby. Thanks, Becky. Thanks for letting us have dinner on you tonight. We appreciate it. It's really when we get together and talk about what we're going to do on the show every night. It's kind of our pre-show meeting, get things lined up. So we certainly appreciate it. Thanks for asking, 25. Appreciate it. And I noticed your comment earlier. Yeah, it's Rig Tuesday. It's always Rig Tuesday for you and Deviant. So thanks for bringing that up. Thank you very much. So about 2 weeks ago, someone mentioned, and I thought it was a really cool idea, if any of you out there are artists or you are good at drawing, creating, whether it's freehand or even on computer, and you have any type of kicker art that you'd like to share with the world, we'd love to see it. If we could get enough of that stuff sent into us, we'd actually do a small segment on every Tuesday night show and actually show it to the world. So if you have anything like that that you'd like to share, please reach out, social@kicker.com. That puts you straight into Bill Frog's inbox, and we would love to see any of that kind of stuff you have. So if you are talented in that way, I'm not. I'm pretty good with the computer, but freehand, not so much. Thankfully, I can write and you can read. That's really, really well. But if you are one of those talented people, whatever you'd like to create, please send it to us. We'd like to start a small segment of that, fan art. Send it in. We'd love to look at it. Love to get it on the show. That was a great idea that came in from out in the field, so I just wanted to bring that up. Events. We talk about this on every show now because people want to stay tuned into the loop. Ernie, if you'll bring my laptop up again as an asset, I'd appreciate it, sir. I'm going to buzz right over here real quick to the Kicker Facebook page. And if you'll notice here, we've made this easy. We used to go to, page by page, and Bill actually said, stop doing that. Here's an easier way. So we do this now. Bill's been really good at getting all of the events cataloged and up on the Kicker Facebook page. And if you'll go there, you hit on the left side, you'll hit events, tap the events tab, and you can see in order, working from the bottom up, we've got the Lake Havasu Classic Outboard Championships. That's October 15th through the 18th. And I'm pretty sure that's our boy Lauren Morrell doing that one. Is that correct, Jeremy? So Lauren will be handling that event. Be sure to go out there if you're in the area. That'll be a cool, good time. Lauren is a great, great person. You'd have some fun hanging out with him and seeing what he's brought for display. Following that, October 23rd to the 24th, we've got the Midwest SPL Finals in Sedalia, Missouri. Mr. Steve Benton up there, we are supporting that event as well. That's happening October 23rd and 24th. After that, October 23rd, same weekend, the SQ Car Audio Championships are going on, and we are sponsoring those as well. They actually had the SPL version of that last weekend, if I remember right. It was on the 7th and 8th, if I got my dates right. This one will be going on. This is the sound quality portion. Then October 23rd as well. This has got to be Lauren, Extreme Motorcycle Racing. Is that Lauren? Yep. Man, that guy is busy. He's everywhere. Endurocross, that's what's going on. So that's Endurocross going on. That's in Reno, Nevada. Go check that event out. That is really, it's always a good time. And then October 29th, another one, AMA Endurocross. That's going on in Denver, Colorado. And then last but not least, man, we had a whole show on this one, and I think we'll have to have maybe, if not some live stuff, maybe we'll get him back in for a little bit on one of the shows coming up, but our own Steve Barber from Sharton on him. The Showdown, the Great Las Vegas Taco Festival. Man, this is music, this is a car show, this is an SPL show, it's a sound quality show, great, great food. They're going to have multiple vendors out there selling out of food trucks. And that's going November 6th and 7th, which is the weekend right after SEMA. SEMA butts right up to it. So SEMA ends on Friday the 5th. It starts on that Tuesday, runs through Friday, and then this event is the 6th and 7th, the Showdown, Great Las Vegas Taco Festival. It's going to be a fantastic show. I highly recommend you go check that out, especially in the area. I know a lot of people are talking about it now. Looks like we're going to have some people traveling in. I say this with the utmost respect. Steve's done a good job. I almost look at this event as becoming like the Slamology of the West. Great show, great event. Highly recommend you go check it out. So that covers events for tonight's show. Last but not least, don't have to do it this second, but if you could, on the way out the door tonight, if you like the content, if you like what we're doing here on Kicker Unmasked Live Weekly, we would certainly appreciate smashing that thumbs up button on your way out the door. As you know, we don't monetize these videos, and we never will. That's not what it's about. This is just a way we get to communicate with the community, get feedback from the community, and show that we want to be involved, and we take what you guys want to hear and talk about seriously. A thumbs up to us tells us we're on the right path and gives us that information. So please smash that. It helps us in making decisions on future shows, helps us twist the arms of the bosses to get things going on down here. Really does do a great job for us. So if you enjoy the content, be sure you throw us a big thumbs up on the way out the door tonight. JW, you got any other viewer shout-outs or questions you want to put up on the screen? Good. Eddie Gogolak. Did I get that right, Eddie? Hopefully I did. Is there any events that ever happened in Buffalo, New York or Niagara Falls, New York? Hey, what was the Jeep Week? Where's that at? That's in Ocean City, Maryland. Okay. Do you know any off the top of your head that we do in Buffalo or Niagara Falls? Yeah, I can't think of any either. That's why I was asking you. You'll hear me shout out to JW. JW is in charge of events. He is the events manager coordinator. He's the guy we get to praise or blame for everything that goes right or wrong. And so a lot of times I'll ask him because he's way in tune with that more than I am. I didn't know of one off the top of my head. Keep in mind, we're always looking at events. Some events we'll do for a couple of years, and then we'll shift gears and go to some other major events. Unfortunately, we can't be everywhere, especially at the same time, but we try to get everywhere we can. This last year has made that a challenge, as everyone knows, because of what's been going on. But great question. We will always talk about events here on Unmasked Live Weekly, and we will always post them on our Kicker Facebook page, so stay tuned for that. High Five Vega, have you seen Titanic? I have a hand-drawn portrait of Bill Frog in that pose. You know what pose I'm talking about. Are you for real? Do you really? You need to send that. Like send it. Like, soon. We need to see this. I don't know if High Five Vega is serious or if he's just trying to be humorous tonight. Either way, that's pretty interesting. Any more questions out there? Clip to bit. Hey, in the Solo family, is it just Solo L7X or more coming soon? Ooh. Here's what I can say, clip to bit. I love Tim. I've said this on previous shows, and so I am safe saying this. I have always said that Solo X is a family. L7X is the first product that we are talking about in the Solo X family. People have asked questions about amplifiers. People have asked questions about mid-ranges and high-output mids and high-output tweets and other things. And the only thing I can say is right now we're talking about L7X. But remember, it's the Solo X family. So hopefully that answers your question as much as I can and keeps me employed come tomorrow. Larry H., watch Big D Wiz tour video. Does Kicker sell any refurbished products? Larry, we do sell refurbs and B-stock goods, but we typically run that just through one or two online vendors here in the U.S., and sometimes it does go offshore. We Kicker don't sell direct anything refurbed out of here on kicker.com. Anything on kicker.com is all brand new gear. The refurb stuff, you can find that at several select websites that are out there online, but that's where the refurbished or B-stock gear goes. So hopefully that answers your question. Larry, Deviant for life. Deviant won 2 weeks ago. He won a big prize. Congratulations, Deviant. JW wants a weekly beardy pick segment. Well, if JW wants it, the only way he can do it is if you send us the pictures. So come on, bring them on. If you want to send us weekly pics, we'll put them up on the show for you, man. Love to see them, especially when he's sporting his T-shirt. Sarah Starr, I have a CXA 800.1. The installer hooked it up with one RCA. Is that okay? No, that's not okay. You probably should be plugged into both those. You won't get full voltage swing into the preamp. So if he's just plugged in one, he's probably just grabbing a left channel or a right channel. What you need to do right there is if you just take a Y cable, you can get yourself, Kicker has them, you can get them from others if you want as well, but get you a single female to two male Y cable. Just unplug that RCA from your amplifier, plug in the Y cable, plug both the left and right back in. It's not that it's going to sound bad, it's just that you're not going to get full voltage swing to the preamp, so you're not getting full output from that amplifier. So recommend that you get a Y cable and plug that in. That'll fix it for you. Thanks, Sarah. Good question. David Powell, any Kicker subs suitable for free air? David, that's a really good question. There are some subs that we have that will work in a free air application. I would highly recommend you simply call Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, talk to the techs like I just talked about in the beginning of the show. Talk to the techs, let them know your application, your car, power, whatever you're going to do, and they can walk you through helping pick which subwoofer would be the best for your application. I jokingly tell people all the time, you can use a subwoofer in any application you want. It's just that sometimes it's going to work better in application A versus B, C, or D. And that's the same thing with free air. When you take a free air, any sub, and you put it into a free air application, the first thing you have to remember is any of those power ratings you see on subwoofers in particular, those are all based on being in either a sealed or a ported box. As soon as you go into a free air environment, what happens is you're losing the air spring in the box to control the motion of that speaker. So your power handling gets cut way down, typically in at least half. So if you take a woofer that's in a sealed or ported box and it's rated at 400 watts and you take it into a free air application, you're looking at getting that woofer to full mechanical excursion with definitely probably about less than half the power that it's rated. So keep that in mind, but really call and talk to the techs. They can model up, they can work with you and figure out what's going to be the best one for your application. And yes, there are subs in the Kicker line you can use for free air application. So hopefully that answers your question. Todd Rogers. Will the Kicker Key 200.4 be better than my factory OEM Sony system in my 2914 Ford F-150 Platinum? Thanks. Todd, if you have a 2914 Ford F-150 Platinum, I need to borrow your time machine because we got a lot of things that we can fix. So that being said, I don't know if you mean 2014 or 2019, but I'm pretty sure it's not a 2914. And if it is, welcome to 2021. What can we do for you? The KICKER Key 200.4, yes. Compared to most factory systems, here's the thing I have to address on that. Leave this question up for me, if you will, JW. So Todd, here's the thing. All factory systems today have some form of a DSP/equalizer/crossover system built into them, and the factory is tuning that amplifier, that radio, for the speakers that are in the factory car. What a lot of people will experience in a factory system is they'll take the factory speakers out and they'll put in much better speakers. And they'll play the system and they'll be like, it sounds horrible. It doesn't sound as good as I was expecting. I mean, I just put in speakers that cost way more and look better and are better materials, but they don't sound. And that's because you're stuck with that factory EQ curve. And a lot of times on the OE development side, they'll use rather inexpensive speakers and a modest amount of equalization, or if not modest, a generous amount of equalization to get that speaker to sound how they want in that car. They'll also roll off the bass or do some kind of volume level control. As you turn it up, it stops increasing the volume below certain frequencies. There's all sorts of things that happen there. If you're going to upgrade the speakers in your vehicle, I highly recommend that you do some kind of a DSP or some kind of an amplifier with the DSP so that you can correct that EQ that's built into the factory system. If you don't correct that EQ in the factory system, you're never going to get the full potential of the speakers you're putting in, no matter what they are. So when you ask that question, yes, a Key 200.4, because what a Key 200.4 is going to do is you're going to put in whatever speakers you're going to upgrade with, you're going to put that amplifier in, and you're going to run it through with the built-in microphone, go through its setup routine, and it's going to measure the response of the speakers in that car. And what it's going to measure is that factory EQ that's on board. And what the key is going to do is it's going to negate that. The key is going to either boost or cut whatever it needs to in its realm to get that back to the target house curve that we at KICKER think sounds great in a car. So if you're upgrading the speakers and you're staying with the factory radio, which in a lot of cases today you are, there's nothing wrong with the factory radio. It's a clean signal. It's typically 20 to 20. It's got all the features you want, but it's got that DSP/equalization that they've put in there, and it sometimes has that bass roll off as you turn the volume up. And that's why if you throw a Key 200.4 in, you go through that whole setup routine, it's going to remove that EQ, it's going to give you a great sounding EQ, and it's going to sound much better on any speakers you put in that car. So that answers my question for you. In 2914, maybe they're just playing the music straight out of your head and there is no such thing as MP3s or things like that. You need to let us know because I am definitely interested. So thanks, Todd. Appreciate it. Dave E., can the KXA 400.4 be strap bridged? Well, no. That's an easy question to answer. The answer is no, it cannot be strapped or bridged. Now, you can take a KXA 400.4 and you can bridge it down to a 2-channel, which is, even our own guys here in-house will do that a lot, because if you take a 400.4 and you bridge that down, and then you just put the, channels 1 and 2 bridged on the left front speaker and channels 3 and 4 bridged on the right speaker, you've effectively taken that from a 50 watt by 4 channel into a 200 watt by 2 amplifier. So yes, you can bridge a single 400.4 and get significantly more power into a pair of speakers, but you can't strap two 400.4s together. You could put a 400.4 bridged on the rear and a 400.4 bridged on the front, but you can't strap the two together to get one bigger amplifier. And hopefully, if you're asking the term strapped, you know what I'm talking about there. I don't need to go too far in depth on that. And if we need to go in depth on that, ask a question. We'll get into there. Albert Flores, are Q-Class round and square subs going away? Albert, the answer to that is no, 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 they are not going away. We're actually going to touch a little bit on that here in the show. This last 18 months has been extremely difficult for everyone out there making anything. We happen to be in the car audio business, so we make car amplifiers, car speakers. Ford's in the business of making trucks. They've got over 30,000 trucks sitting over at the Louisville Speedway because they can't ship them to dealers to sell because the body computers and the electronic control modules that go into the truck to finish it, they can't get them finished because of the chip shortages that are going on right now. We're talking about memory chips, microprocessors, transistors, DSPs, caps, resistors. Everything used to make electronics is in very, very short supply globally. And so that is why you're seeing a company like us and everyone else is you can hit kicker.com, and if it's a product we're not going to carry anymore, it'll tell you it's not going to be carried anymore. But if it just shows that it's out of stock, then all it means is we're out of stock. Now, we're going to address this here in just a few minutes. We're going to get into that with all the paperwork. I'm going to feel like a news anchor here in a minute just reading from a bunch of paper, but it'll give you guys a bunch of updates on product and everything that's going on. Is we send everything out that we get in to our dealers first. So if it's a brick and mortar store or an online store that is a Kicker dealer and they have an order in with us, and let's just say it's a comp Q15 and we get 1,500 of them in. Those 1,500 go out to our dealers if there's orders for those in house, and we don't keep any of them here to go on kicker.com. So understand, just because it may be out at kicker.com doesn't mean there may not be some out in our dealer base, because we are going to fill our dealers first before we keep anything to go back up on kicker.com. And I think that creates the impression for a lot of people, if they don't see it on kicker.com, they think it's gone. If it's an end-of-life product and we're not going to carry it anymore, we'll say that right on the kicker.com website. You don't need to worry about that. We don't try to hide that. So no, they are not going away. It's just in tight supply right now. So hopefully that answers your question. Just for laughs, 8988. Do you think you'll have something big come out as far as amplifier monoblocks, 5K or bigger possibly? I truly missed the ZX 2500.1, especially the V.1 that was a monster. Just for laughs, 8988. Here's what I'm going to say. We said the Solo X family. Keep that in mind and stay tuned to Unmasked. I can tell you, as we get closer to any new products that we can talk about, and you know, we normally go to SEMA. We're not going to SEMA this year, so we might have some new products to talk about in an upcoming show. You never know. Stay tuned. We know people want bigger amplifiers. We are listening. DRGSSXNRCKNRLL. How's that for spelling it out? Because I don't know what that says at all. So, A, what is the difference between the Kicker 41 VL7 122 and the Kicker 44 VLS 122? Good. That's an easy one to answer. 41 VL7 122 is a Q class driver, and 44 VL7 is an L7S driver. So if you look into the line of speakers that we make the, if you start at squares, we do L7R, well, I should back up. We do L7T, which is a thin mount, then we do L7R, then we step up to L7S, then we step up to L7Q, and so that's in order of the way step, and then after Q will obviously be this big boy right here, which is the new L7X. I know you can't see that on, oh yeah, you can, there it is, you can see it in the corner right there. So this is the cutaway we normally have here on the table. So that's the difference. It's two different speakers. They're both vented enclosures. The V in that means vented. L7 means it's the L7 drivers. And then as you can see, 41, I just know 41 is the Q class driver. And then over there you see L7S. That is because that's an S class driver. They're both 12-inch and they're both 2 ohm. So hopefully that answers your question. And apologize, I can't pronounce your name. Bearded Butler 92. Kip, I have the KSS 690 and the KSC 350 on a key 200.4 as my front stage. Every time I try to run the tuning on the key, it fails. Any idea why? KSS 690 and the KSC 350. So you're running...
Ask him if his rear speakers are playing while the tune is going on. If not, he needs to fade all the way to the front.
Yeah, a couple things here, and this will be, I'm going to answer what I can here on the show, and the good part is I got Tim sitting right behind the cameras, and he works with this stuff every day back in the back. His first response was, Tim said, do you have the back speaker? I guess you got 690s and 350s, and they're both as your front stage, okay? Do you have your back speakers on? However your back speakers are playing, are they on and are your subwoofers on? One of the mistakes that people will make when trying to set up a key amplifier is the speakers that are connected to the key have to be the only speakers playing. And so in many cases, the rear channels are still on the factory radio or the aftermarket radio, or the subwoofer may be connected to a different output from your radio. And if either of those two are playing at the same time, the key will fail every time. The key has to hear only the speakers connected to the key, so check that. Other than that, I don't hear of a lot of people having failure issues other than if you're not doing it in a quiet environment. That is critical as well. When you run the key setup, it has to be quiet around the car. So make sure windows are up, doors are shut, make sure there's no air compressor or other stereo or loud noises going on. Make sure there's not demolition going on in a building next door or anything like that. It's got to be semi-quiet for that thing to actually work. So hopefully that helps you. If it does not and you have another question, throw it in the feed. And then if you need deeper information, I highly encourage you, and that's why they're there. Call tech support. It's 800-256-0808, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Time. Tell them what your car is, tell them your product, everything, and they can definitely walk you a little further through this than I probably can just answering questions here on the show. But if you got another question, you throw it up, we'll gladly take it. Hope that gives you some direction. Living Loud with Andy. About 30 minutes left enter the contest. Kicker.com, Weekly. Thanks for that, Andy. You are a savior and a great friend. Appreciate you being in the feed and reminding people that. You got about 30 minutes. Will there be a 2021 Kicker Unmasked SEMA edition? 5 hours of Kicker content. I'm totally down. Andy, honestly, I'll be truthful with everyone who's watching. I don't know if we're going to do a SEMA dedicated show. We will probably do just a standard Tuesday night show, and if we got some things that we want to cover for 2021, which would be new 2022 products, we will just do it on a special edition here on the Tuesday night show. So stay tuned for that. I don't think we'll try to do a 5-hour marathon like we did the first time, but if we have things like that to talk about, we might end up doing like an extended Tuesday night show, maybe even have to kick it off a little earlier or run a little bit late. We haven't decided yet because we're still figuring those things out, and the reason we're still figuring those things out is, again, this whole past year and a half of trying to do things during this global, the train was moving and the train stopped, and it's my favorite word for it, it's a dumpster fire. So stay tuned. If we have a special edition, it'll probably just be on a Tuesday night. So that's what we're discussing right now, and we will definitely let you know. Thank you, sir. So with all that said, what I'm going to do here real quick, guys, I love the questions, and I'd like to bring back the Solo X. Hey, it's coming. I just saw this, 7mm. It's called the L7X, and it's coming. Stay tuned. You're definitely going to see it. It's this thing right here beside me, and it is, if you like the Solo X, you're going to love the new L7X. Absolutely going to love it. Solo X, please. Why the extended wait? Well, here we go. All right. Damn train crashed and burned. Isn't that the truth, Notorious RVH? Rob, let me get you up here real quick. Rob Sanchez, Solo X, please. Why the extended wait? Hey, Rob, it's just this simple, man. We had planned on releasing this driver this year. It was actually supposed to be a product that we launched, in the spring of this year. And the truth of the matter is, it's just the entire COVID situation has messed up the ability to make anything. That's all it is. No other answer. It is coming. Our projected release date right now on this is we're looking at Q1 to Q2 of 2022. So this driver, that means you're going to be looking sometime between January through January, February, March would be Q1, April, May, June, that's Q2. So if we go sometime between January and June is what we're targeting. And as I've told people on the show before, we're doing everything we can to get this to market as fast as we can. And if we get it and it's ready to go before even those time frames, we're going to bring it to the show, we're going to release it, and we're going to bring it to the public. We're not going to delay it. But that's what we're seeing as a realistic ability for us to get that driver to market. But stay tuned. We are always doing everything we can, and even we get surprised. Sometimes we're able to pull some magic strings and make things happen quicker than we want them to. So just keep that in mind. And real quick here, Peanut Destroying Games, how you enter the contest, I don't see where on the website. This is what you need to do. Go to kicker.com/UMWeekly, one word, UMWEEKLY. Bill's going to scroll across the bottom of the screen because I know that's how he rolls. Go to kicker.com/UMWeekly, scroll down to the bottom. You got to hit accept the newsletter. Green, the box that says continue will turn green. Click that continue button. It's real easy. It asks you a few questions. Boom, you're in the contest. We draw and announce winners before 9 o'clock. So we cover this all the time because we want to make sure everyone who wants to enter can enter. So with that said, I see it. Rob, okay, here, Rob, I'll take one more from you. And I got to we're never going to get the show done. Let me find it here. Rob, where'd you go? Okay. We've talked about this on the previous shows, Rob, and this may be your first time at the show and you don't know, so I'm glad to answer your questions. We've said from the beginning that what we're looking at is that size for size, we're looking the new L7X to be around half of what the old Solo X was as far as its retail price point. So to put that in perspective, and ironically, I've actually got it here in front of me on a piece of paper. That means the original, we did those in a 10, a 12, and a 15, or an 18, excuse me. We did not do a 15. That's the one we skipped. So just for example, the old S10X was $900 retail. And so we're saying the new L7X, we're projecting to be about half of that. So understanding with COVID, prices are fluctuating, shipping has gone through the roof. So I don't want to put out a number that you're going to make me stick to, but when I say about half, I would expect that driver then to be somewhere in that $450 to $550 retail price point range is what I would expect it to be when we finally get to market. The 12, which we are going to have a 10 and a 12 in the the new L7X line. The 12 was $1,000, so look for that to be somewhere probably in the $500 to $600 ballpark range. And then we made an 18. We're not bringing out an 18 in the L7X. We're going to do a 15. So the L7X new is going to be 10, 12, and 15. So the 15, I would expect the 15 to be somewhere probably in that $700 to $800 window would be my guess. But again, that's just a guess because I can't give any kind of reference to a 15 because we never made a 15. We just did a 10, 12, and then went straight to an 18, whereas this time we're coming out with a 10, 12, and a 15. So hopefully that answers your question on that as far as price point. More information for that we will absolutely release when we get closer to actually having those here in-house so we can ship them out. When D&B Sales has it, I will let the Kicker family know. Thank you for that very much. We appreciate it. You know, Thomas, yeah, people do love the cutaway. That cutaway is cool. We actually did this one in-house. A lot of times we do them outside with a laser jet or a water jet, but we actually did this one in-house. And Martin Williams did this, and man, I got to say, he did a fantastic. I actually am surprised the magnets stayed in as one piece as they did because typically magnets you can't cut. They just typically explode apart when you cut them, and they only chipped in a few places. He did a decent job. Usually on the cutaways, we just use wood painted black because we cut it and put it in because you can't cut magnets. It's really difficult. But yeah, it is pretty cool to see that. So keep the questions coming. If we get through all this stuff over here, we can actually come back and answer more questions. That's what we're here for. Absolutely. I wonder if the new L7Xs are underrated. Todd, I'd say yes. I'd say yes. From what I've seen, that's an unequivocal yes. You're going to be very impressed with the new L7X. If you like the Solo X, if you liked everything it did, you're going to love the engineering and technology we've put into the L7X. It is going to be an amazing driver. So I'm going to get into the bulk of the show. Keep the questions coming if you got them, guys, because I will try to answer everything. Jeremy, if you see a good one come up, just go ahead and knock it up there. I'll try to take care of it. But I want to go ahead and get into this real fast. So what I've got here is a stack of papers. Like I said, now I'm going to feel like, you know, Ron Burgundy, the anchor man here, you know. Let me get my drink. So we released a lot of product at SEMA, the SEMA Unmasked last year. And we've been working to get all that product out into the marketplace. And so what I want to do real quick, I say quick, we're going to go through product line by product line here. And I'm going to let you know if these products have come in and they have shipped out. And the cool part is I got a sheet here in front of me that's going to tell me, because the other thing is I know there's a couple people that even from that original show are still waiting on their prizes. And as we told everyone originally, we can't ship you your prizes until we physically get the product in-house. So between these two sheets of paper I've got here, or multiple sheets of paper, I think we're going to answer a lot of questions about the product we released at the original SEMA, because people have been asking about this all the time on the show, and so we figured there's no better thing to do than just let's hit it, let's do a show about this, answer questions about it, and move on down the road. So the first product, Ernie, if you'll bring up slide number 1, which is the power bar. If you don't mind bringing that up and then just throw me in the corner or do whatever you want. This is the first product, the power bar that there's no particular order on these guys, keep that in mind. But this is the first product we're talking about tonight. And so this is the power bar. We showed these at SEMA, Unmasked, last year. These products have come, these products have gone. We have actually got this product into the warehouse. We've shipped these out to dealers. We've had a couple shipments of these that have left out. And to remind everyone, we offer these in a KPB2, which is a 10-speaker system, and a KPB1, which is a 6-speaker system. We did have people who won these on the original Unmasked Live, and they have received their product as well. So that is the first product from the original Unmasked. Power bar is not just a breakfast supplement. That's true, Robert. Good question. Good answer there. But those have come in. They are shipping. What I will say, and this may sound a little repetitive as I add this to the different products, keep in mind, we've got them in, we've shipped them, they've gone out, and then we are doing everything in our power to keep getting more in, to keep filling that pipeline up. So if you go to kicker.com right now, you're not going to find a power bar for sale. If you go to a Kicker online or a Kicker brick and mortar dealer who is a dealer that carries this product, they more than likely either have already got theirs in and sold them, or they may have some left. Everyone who's experienced the Power Bar absolutely loves them. It's a fantastic product. We're going to do everything we can to continue accelerating as we can during these unprecedented times to get product in the field. But this is one of the original products we showed that was going to launch for 2021, and it's out, it's hit the field, and we're going to keep getting them out there. Does it come with a sub? Jerome, it doesn't come with a sub, but the cool part is it has an output to add a sub. So yes, you can add an external amplifier and an external subwoofer to this, no problem at all. The master volume control on the unit will control the volume of the subwoofer up and down, as well as the unit itself. You can use your 8-inch tube speaker with it, absolutely. As long as your 8-inch tube speaker is powered. I'm assuming when you say that, either you've got an amplifier for it or it's got an amplifier built into it. Either way, yes, you can add that to the Power Bar product. And the cool part about this, and Ernie, there's another slide you got there, and it's actually Farm Truck and Asian. If you don't mind, pop that one up. And so Farm Truck and Asian, they actually got a couple Power Bars. They're actually outfitting it's some kind of bus that's got a big diesel engine in it. It must be something that gets it going down the highway pretty quick. But they actually got some of these. They're putting them in. There's some comments from out in the field, as you can see. So these are out in the field. People have got them, absolutely love them. Thanks for the shout out from Farm Truck and Asian. This was just posted up in their Instagram. Wanted to get a little shout out to those guys. Great guys. Love that they enjoy being sponsored by KICKER. They're great friends of the KICKER family, and we love having them on board. So that's the Power Bar. It has shipped. It continues to ship as we get them in. Moving on to the next one will be the KMA series of KICKER amplifiers. And I'm looking through my list here so I don't lie to anyone. That's why I'm making sure. But these amplifiers have also come in and shipped out in some type of quantity. And of course, on those amplifiers, as you know, I'm going to talk about the two different lines. I don't mean lines, but models. We make a 4-channel, the 360.4. We make the 4-channel, 600.4. It's 150 watts by 4. And then we make the 150.2, which is a 75 by 2. That's basically in the multi-channel and the full range on that. And then we also offer them in a 606, which is a specialty 6-channel, and an 800.1 mono block. The KMA line is basically KICKER's entry-level line into a marine amplifier. They have conformal coated boards. They have sealed end panels. They're designed to keep as much of that salt spray, salt, fog, UV, everything else that can an amplifier subjected to in that environment. So it's an entry-level amp only from the fact that it doesn't have DSP. It's not as an advanced feature set as the next series of amplifiers, but these are built just as rugged. They have Coast Guard approved terminals on there. They're approved by the ABYC. These are rugged amplifiers. These have come in. These have shipped out. And again, we're constantly looking to get more of these amplifiers into the barn, as many as we can moving on down the highway. But we're proud to say these have arrived and shipped as well. And anyone who won one in our drawings, you've received that amplifier. So Ernie, move on to the next slide. Move on to the next slide. I just covered that one. I skipped you. I did that to you on purpose, accidentally. Move on to the KXMA, the first one. Oh, there we go. Somehow I missed one. Hold on here a second. I must have skipped. Is that the next one? Oh, there. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so then the next one in the lineup, guys, is the KXMA. And KXMA is the high-end line of the marine amplifier. So we got KXA and then we got KXMA. These amplifiers, some have come and gone. Some, not all. On the KXMA line, we actually offer these in the full range models. We have a 500.4, we have an 800.4, we have a 400.2, and a 1200.2. And that's in the full range models on that one. And then Ernie, if you got another KXMA slide, you can go ahead and pull it up. I know I had two of them there. Well, hey, Marcus, hang on just a second. I'm going to answer that question for you, sir. And then we've got the 808 and the 905. Now, we've gotten some of the KXMAs in, and some of the KXMAs have shipped. The only one that we have not got in yet, or I shouldn't say the only one, but one of the ones I know we have not got in yet, is the KXMA 900.5. And I know at least one guy out there, Robert Van Hoy, is waiting for his because he was the winner of a 900.5 at the original UnMASKED. So Robert, you haven't got your 905 yet because we haven't got 900.5s yet. That's one of the models in the KXMA lineup that we just have not received yet. We're working on it. As soon as we get them in, you'll get your winning amplifier, obviously, and of course the rest of the world, you'll see those as well. The 905 is a very popular amplifier, and we are doing everything we can to get that in. The real issue right now is DSPs. The KXMA line, it's a higher end line. It uses a DSP processor chip in those, and there was about a year or so, but it's actually a little over a year now, maybe going on 14 months, factory in Japan called AKM, and they make DSPs, microprocessors, little EEPROM and ROM chips. They make all sorts of stuff like that that's used by everyone. Cars, home audio, car audio, TVs, touchscreen radios, anything like that. And they are fast tracking a new factory, but that's why there's such a shortage of some things right now, is because they were the major supplier in the world of that type of chipset. So we're waiting patiently as we can to see them get back up and running so the rest of the world can get back up and running too. Marcus, that's a great question. The KMA series work in Jeeps? Absolutely. We have lots of people that use the KMA and the KXMA in cars or Jeeps because we do that 8-channel in the KXMA line. It's a very popular amplifier that people will take over and use on the Jeep side or the UTV side. So yes, these amplifiers can live in a car environment as well as they can in a boat environment. So I encourage you, if you want to use it there, go for it, absolutely. Ernie, let's move on to the next one. That should be the V series that you brought up that I panicked about. Boom. So this is another product line that we launched or talked about at the original SEMA. These are in, these are shipping, we have these in stock. And basically these are V series wiring kits. We do these in a VK6, which is a 6-gauge kit, and a VK8 kit, which is an 8-gauge kit. Maybe Timmy can get a close-up shot of one, and Ernie can lay that in a picture-in-picture over there. Basically, these are 100% copper kits. They are true spec wire gauge, so it is a 6-gauge and an 8-gauge. It is not tin-plated like our step-up line of wire is, but for someone who's just looking for a good wire kit, 100% copper is going to get the job done. That is where the VK6 and the VK8 fit into the ball game. And those are available, and they have been shipping, and even the people who want them, they've got their prize. So that is a home run winner chicken dinner right there. While I'm looking up here at my next sheet, just let everybody know it's got about 13 minutes, maybe 13 or 14 minutes to enter the contest. So if you have not entered tonight's contest, folks, kicker.com/UM Weekly gets you in tonight's drawing. So be sure you go check that out. You got about 13 minutes to enter. It's real easy. Next product up the line, Ernie, go ahead to the next slide. That would be the PSM3s. Thank you, sir. PSM3s, these are in stock and these are shipping. This is our little handlebar mount 3-inch speaker. They come available in either a chrome finish or a black finish. They're 3-inch, they're great for UTVs, they're great for golf cars, they're great for motorcycles, anything like that where you need to do a bar mount or a pole mount, they are there to do that. These were announced at the original Unmasked. These are out, these are shipping, they're available, and I know this is one of the products you can actually go to kicker.com right now and pick up. So we have plenty of stock on these, our dealers have them. So if you're looking for a PSM3 that we announced, go check those out. And of course, if you're a winner of that product, you've already received it. Because as I look through here, yeah, that's good news. I'm just looking at another sheet here to see what shipped and what hadn't shipped. So yeah, these are shipped, we're all out barring. The next one, and I know this one is in short supply internally right now because we have shipped them all out to dealers. And that would be, as we affectionately call it here in the studio, the Snowman. That's the KSMT dual pod component system. Ernie, you want to pull that next slide up for me, sir? And this has been really one of the most talked about products that we've brought forward. I don't think any of us really felt like there'd be as much interest in this as there has been, and man, this is just off the charts, the amount of interest that people have in this KSMT speaker pod. So we have got them in, we have filled all dealer back orders, and we have basically none left here at Kicker right now. We're waiting for the next shipment to come in so that we can do this. Jimmy Pittman, Snowman, that's right, Jimmy. Timmy's got a good close-up photo of it right there, but that's the Snowman pod right there. We announced these at the original Unmasked show, and like I said, they are out in the field. Check with your local dealer, brick and mortar, or your favorite online, wherever you like to go. But we have filled all back orders on these. We had a few pieces left over. It wasn't many. It was just enough for me to know that we covered back orders and they're all out in the field. So they are out. You can go get them. I think you're going to see some nice independent reviews of these coming soon. We did get a couple pair of these out to some guys who are part of the community, and they're going to get some hands-on experience with these and be able to do some reviews for you guys, let you know what they think of this product. But again, as I have to say, looking back to last year, I just can't believe the enthusiasm and interest in this product, because it's way more than even I expected. So much more that the more I've played with it, I think a pair of these, as soon as I can get a pair, I'm going to put a pair into my own vehicle. So that's the KSMT pods. A lot of interest. They've shipped. They're out there. Go check them out at your dealer. Hector Bello, I own a pair of these and truly enjoy them. Hector, thank you for the shout out. We have had a lot of people who have got these in their hands and they said they absolutely love them. They mount up. There's so many different mounting options you've got on these. You can do them fully active. You can do them active-passive combination. You can do them all passive. There's so many ways that you can get better sound in your car, whether it's keeping with the factory 6x9 or 6.5 that's in the door as your mid-bass driver and adding these up top, or even doing a full replacement and go with something different in the door. It's a great product. We're proud to say these have shipped and they're out. So awesome. Ernie, let's move from the KSMT to the KS Series component. Boom, KS Series components. And I know my friend Jimmy Pittman is excited about these because he actually got a pair. He's actually getting ready to do a system in his own vehicle, and he wanted a pair of these, so he was able to get them. This is the 6x9 Midler combo. That's that little 2.75 inch driver. You can buy that separately. We sell them by the pair separately, but this is a kit that we do, and it includes the 6x9 mid-bass driver, the passive crossovers, and that little 2.75 inch. I call it a midler because it's really a mid-range. It plays down fairly low, but it plays fairly high as well. So I call it a midler tweeter combo. I call it a midler. It plays smooth up to about 18K. I mean, it is a fantastic little speaker system there. Highly recommend it. These have come, these have gone, these have shipped. They are available in your dealers. Go check them out if you're interested in a pair of these. I'm glad that we were able to finally get these in and get these shipped out the door. I know Jimmy Pittman's excited about it because he waited forever to get a pair of these. So they're at your local Kicker dealers. Go check them out. Now that covers the components and that covers the amplifiers. The next thing, and Tim can get some close-up shots when he wants to fill them in. Ernie, let's go to the next one, and that would be the comp down-firing loaded sub-enclosures. These have entered the warehouse. These have left the warehouse as well. We do these in a 12 and in a 10 inch model. These work great. They're designed to work with 150 watts RMS, 300 watts max. So if you're not looking to have a ton of power, you don't want a huge amplifier, you don't want to have to worry about all the different electrical upgrades you'd have to do to your car, you just want to add some good bottom end to your system, whether it's a stock or OE. This is the right price, it's the right product, it's very efficient, and with only needing 150 to 200 watts really to get you going, it works great on just about anything out there for an entry-level system. It's entry-level for Kicker. I hate to say this is an entry-level woofer. In the field of products out there, it's not entry-level, but it's entry-level for Kicker. Fantastic product. Down-firing woofers have been very popular. That's why we keep adding to that category for us, because once people get to experience how it sounds in the vehicle, they can still put their toolbox, their clothes, and anything else on top of it. It doesn't hurt the speaker, it doesn't hurt the enclosure. It's been a really good category for us, and that's why we came out with one using the original comp, because it gets us one at a really great price point that doesn't need a lot of power to sound good. So those are out in the field. These have shipped. Go check them out. Moving on down the highway, we've got the Comp VT. Ernie, you want to go ahead and bring that one up? Oh, I see a question here from Daniel. Daniel Jenkins. What is the pros and cons of the downfiring? Well, I really can't give you any con to a downfiring enclosure. The pros to a downfiring enclosure are, number one, the box protects the driver. So you're throwing in your golf clubs, you're throwing in your groceries, you're throwing in your bowling ball, your fishing gear, your tackle gear, your toolbox, whatever it is, that woofer is completely protected. So you don't have to worry about any damage to the woofer. Number two, in a lot of situations in a car, you get what's called loading. Every car loads up a subwoofer. Even in your house, you put a subwoofer in your house and put it in the corner or certain parts of your wall, you get loading. By downfiring that woofer, we tend to find it's going to load in the car better and give you better output, especially when you're trying to conserve space. These downfiring enclosures, not that you couldn't put 2 or 3 or 4 in your car if you wanted to, but they're really designed for someone who's looking to get good sounding bass, not take up their entire car, be able to utilize and use as much of the car as they can as a car. That's what these downfiring enclosures give you. So the pros would be downfiring, the woofer's fully protected. You get the most of your car back that you can use as a car to transport stuff. It's going to load into the car to give you great sounding bass out of that single driver. using this right here. And so those are the pros. The cons? I guess the only con I'd have is if you're looking for huge output or lots and lots output, you're probably going to want a bigger box. You're probably going to want something that's ported. You may want bigger sealed, more power. It's not going to be for that type of output. So that's not really a con. It's not what the product's made for, but that'd be the only con I can think of. Other than that, it's all pros for a downfiring box. They're stealthy, they sound great, they fit into your car, very well protected on the driver. It's a win-win situation. Do you want to make a snowman? I do. High five egg. I see your comment up there, Robert. And so obviously the trend continues here. We've got the CVT, which is our comp VT woofer. We also offer that in a downfiring enclosure. And again, these have come in and we have shipped some of these. So these are out in the field. The CVT, the comp VT downfiring, we offer those in a 12-inch and a 10-inch as well. This would be, if you're just wanting a little more output, you want to throw some more power, you're looking for more bass out of it. Obviously, if you go from the comp to the comp VT, these have a 400 watt RMS on the 12 and a 350 watt RMS power handling. So more power means more excursion means more output means more bass. So that's going to get you more output if you move into a CVT. Moving right along, we move into the Comp R. Ernie, you want to pull that slide up for me, sir? Thank you very much. Cool thing about the Comp R this year, big upgrade, is the forced air cooling. We've spent a lot of time talking about that on the show in the past, and it's actually, you know, we're actually controlling the airflow from that woofer moving up and down, and we're pulling fresh air in that gets sucked across the voice coil, and when the woofer pushes down, all that warmer, hot air gets pushed past the voice coil, which actually helps cool it again and force that air out the back. And every woofer in our lineup experiences some kind of forced air cooling. The diagram that you see right here on this one shows that the air is pulled in and pushed out through the back. There's actually vent holes in the back of the speaker. And the sizing and placement of those holes is a science and an art. They figure out how many they need. We don't want to put in too many because then you don't get really good cooling. You don't want to put in too less or you get chuffing noises and things like that. So it's an art. Our engineers work with it, but that is really one of the big improvements to the Comp R subwoofer this year is the forced air cooling on that. And of course, those are shipping as well, or have been shipping, which is the good news. And those come in everything from an 8-inch up to a 15, so that's your standard sizes, 8, 10, 12, and 15. Those are shipping. They've been shipped out to dealers. Again, if you hit kicker.com and you don't see them on the website, it means we don't have them in our warehouse here, but that does not mean they don't exist in either an online store or a brick and mortar store. So go hit your local dealer or your favorite online, whichever one you like to shop at, and see if they have the Comp Rs in stock, because we have got them and we have shipped them, which is good. We're glad for that. That brings us all to Comp R enclosures. That's the next slide, Ernie, if you want to bring that up real fast. Comp R enclosures, obviously enclosures built around the Comp R subwoofer, and we do those in a dual 12. We do those in a single 12, and we do those in a dual 10. So those are offered in those three sizes right there. Mike, Kicker, Loud, Craner. Is the cooling still effective in a sealed enclosure? Yes, the cooling is still effective in a sealed enclosure. A speaker, any speaker, you want to get the heat from the voice coil out away from the speaker. And it sounds kind of interesting, radiator, which all cars have a radiator. The radiator's job is to get the heat from the motor. The coolant flows through the engine, gets hot because it's pulling heat away from the engine, flows out to the radiator, and the radiator then has a fan, or just moving down the highway, the air being pushed past it, cools the coolant back down and then repeats the process. In a speaker, what happens is it's either air being blown by the voice coil, or it's the radiated heat from the voice coil that travels down the pole piece to the back plate of the speaker, and that back plate of the speaker is a radiator. It radiates heat from the voice coil into the airspace. Now, whether that's a sealed box or a ported box or an inverted box or a fourth order box, that's all up on you, whatever type of box dyno you have. In a sealed box, eventually, in a ported box, eventually, in a fourth order box, eventually, the ambient air temperature can reach the same temperature as the back plate or the air coming off the speaker. And just like anything out there, it doesn't matter what it is, whether you're talking about an engine, a speaker, your own self, once you reach the ambient air temperature of the air and it's the same temperature as you are, the cooling effect gets diminished. You can't radiate into a hotter environment. So that's where that whole thing comes into play, especially with speakers. People don't like to hear this, but it's the truth is you can play a speaker really hard, get it up to temperature, but then you got to make a choice. Back the volume down a little bit so it can cool, or keep playing at that high output volume, and you're probably going to damage the speaker. And that just has to do with radiant temperature. So I won't say a sealed box or a ported box or a bandpass box cools the air or the speaker better, because as you know in box design, in a ported box, air doesn't leave the box and go back in. That air is a tuned volume that just moves back and forth. That's all it does. So a ported box doesn't cool the air inside the box any better than really a sealed box does. I know it seems counterintuitive, but it's because the air is not going out and coming back in. There might be a slight amount of cooling of that air column that might slightly cool some of the air inside, but it's not like drastically better than a sealed box. So hopefully that answers your question, Mike. But those are available in those enclosures. CompR, they're very popular for us. We've got some in, we've shipped some out, so we're glad that those have hit the market. Check out your local Kicker dealer if they're not available on kicker.com. I say that a lot, but I just want you guys to know that. Moving on down to the next one, Ernie, would be Comp VR enclosures. The VR woofer did not change this year, but what did change for us is we actually brought some Comp VR enclosures back. There's a lot of requests for them, so we went ahead and listened, we did it. So we offer those in a dual 12, and we offer that in a vented 12. Timmy's got the vented 12 up on picture right now. So this is the VR, the Comp VR driver, which is kind of the little brother to the CompR. CompR is like a slightly better version of a Comp VR, I guess is the best way to say that. So no change on the driver this year on the VR, but we did bring them back in boxes. Those have hit, they've shipped, there's some out in the field. Again, if you don't see them on kicker.com, means we don't have them, but you can probably find them at your local Kicker dealer. And just as a heads up, so everyone knows, it's 8:31 according to the clock I'm looking at here, so that means the entry for tonight's contest is finé. We will draw the winners here in a little bit and announce them before 9 o'clock, but the entry level for tonight's contest, UM Weekly, is finished. For all of you who entered, thank you. Stay tuned. Winners coming soon. Ernie, bring up the next slide, if you will, sir. That'd be the Comp RT subwoofer. Those were redesigned for 2021. We have got these in. These have shipped. We offer this driver, and the big thing about the Comp RT is also the cooling. The Comp RT driver uses that forced air cooling, as we talked about in the Comp R as being a new and improved enhancement. And what's cool about that driver, it's a thin mount driver. I'd actually say the Comp RT, it's got a lot of solo barrack in it, I guess would be the thing to say, because it works in a pretty small box. And we make those in everything from a 6 3/4 inch driver, so a really small one, an 8, a 10, and a 12. They work in relatively small boxes. Great driver. If space is what you're having a problem with and you need to get thin, this is definitely the driver you want to look at, or one of the drivers you want to look at, whether it be this one. You could also look at the CVT, Comp VT, or you could look at the L7T, which is the square version of the Comp RT. And then, of course, Ernie, you can go ahead, I know you jumped ahead to the next slide. Go ahead and pull that one up. Drivers improved this year at the forced air cooling offered in those sizes. We offer the Comp RT in thin loaded enclosures. We offer 4 different models of those. We do the 6 3/4, the 8, the 10, and the 12. So you can get the raw driver, obviously, and then we offer them in those 3 models. And the cool part, when you look at that enclosure, it's not just the woofer. That on my left, it'd be probably your right, but you can see the Comp RT driver right there, but then we use a passive radiator in that box. And if any of you have had a chance to experience a Comp RT enclosure, they sound phenomenal. I was blown away. A month or so back, we did an episode where we actually did some of the Kicker employees' cars, and we had Timmy bring his truck in here, and he was one of the ones. And you've got 2 of the 10s, right, Tim? And so he has 2 of those 10-inch RT boxes in his truck. I was blown away. Clean, deep, solid, tight. It's amazing how much performance you get out of a box that's so small because of what that passive radiator brings to the game. And if a lot of you out there don't know, the whole reason for a passive radiator, it allows us to get deep tuning in a very small box, whereas normally in a box that small, to tune it with a port, you'd have to have an extremely long port that wouldn't fit. And so by doing passive radiators, which is kind of Steve Irby's trademark, that's how he got famous, back in the early 80s with the original Kicker boxes. It was all about that passive radiator and tune that cabinet is how you got that great performance out of that. People go, I can't believe that's a 6.5. I can't believe that's an 8. It's because of that technology. So it's, kind of come back. And we're using it in a lot of these thin mount boxes because cars have gotten smaller. People want great performance, and that's what this gives you. So that's on the Comp RT. And then to kind of go back to the original question we talked about downfiring, this box here, the Comp RT, is great for behind the seats of trucks. I've also seen guys put these under the rear seats of crew cab pickups. But if you're going to go in the back of a crew cab truck, Ernie, bring up the next slide. This would actually be the driver or the enclosure. It's the same driver, it's the same passive radiator, but this is the Comp RT box, but in a down-firing version. And these are available in an 8, 10, or a 12. Those are out. They've been shipping. They've been to dealers. Again, if you visit kicker.com and you don't see one there, it means we don't have any in stock, but we have shipped these out to dealers since we introduced these at the original Unmasked. Available, like I said, on these, available in 8, 10, and 12. It's a down-firing. The nice thing about these, I've seen some guys use the standard Comp RT box, and they turn them up so the woofer and passive radiator are firing up. If they don't watch what they're doing, you can get to a situation where the woofer or the surround could rub the seat, and if it's continually rubbing on the seat, you could wear a hole in the surrounds. If you do the down-firing, that's typically totally eliminated because the feet on the down-firing box give you the right clearance. The surround and the woofer are not going to rub or touch the carpet, so you don't have to worry about that. And then you can just fold that seat and put it right down. You don't have to worry about it. Are the passive radiators adjustable for fine tuning? The notorious RVH. What's up, Robert Van Hoy? As they come, Robert, in the pre-made enclosures that we do, no, they're not meant for tuning. They're just tuned to where they are. And depending on it depends on the size of the woofer and the size of the box, but most Kicker preloaded enclosures are going to be tuned in that 31 to 38 hertz range. It just depends on what the enclosure, what it's designed for, size of the woofer, the kind of tuning we can get, how small the enclosure is made. Sometimes you sacrifice a little bit of that 31 low hertz tuning and get up to more like 36 to 38 to shrink that box a little bit more, and you still get great bass, but it gets you that smaller box. Now, all of that said, if you're a tinkerer, you like to play, you want to experiment, thank you, Tim. This is the passive radiator. This is a 12-inch passive radiator right here. And you can buy these separately. We offer these in an 8, a 10, and a 12 passive radiator. And so if you wanted to play with your own Comp RT woofer, Comp R woofer, I don't think I would use anything but a Comp R or Comp RT with these passive radiators because the throw that's designed into these is for that class of woofer. In other words, I wouldn't use this passive radiator with an L7S or an L7Q. It doesn't have the throw designed to made up to those drivers. But you can buy these separately. So if you were to take this off of the pre-made enclosure from Kicker, this is exactly what you're looking at. And then here on the back, you can see this is where the back is. We have our own mass here, and the way this is tuned, the way a passive radiator is tuned is by mass. If you take mass away, it tunes it at a higher frequency. If you add mass, it tunes it to a lower frequency. So if you were an experimenting kind of guy and you wanted to try to tune the enclosure a little lower, you could come back here and you could add some mass to the back of this. I would do something temporary like putty, Play-Doh, window sealant, something like that, and just add whatever you want to, a little bit of time, and you could lower the tuning on this, and you may get to a point where if you get too low, it won't sound good. There is such thing as tuning an enclosure too low. It just doesn't have any impact. It doesn't sound good. But if you want to play around with that, you're more than welcome to as far as adding mass and trying to lower the tuning on it if you wanted to. But that's what this is. This is the PR, the passive radiator, and this is the exact one that is used on the TRTP, which is the downfiring, and the Comp RT enclosures that have passive radiators. So hopefully that answers your question on that, and that's the passive radiator. And these are available, so if you want to build your own enclosure, if you want to build your own downfiring, if you need to build your own truck box and you know you're going to use a couple Comp RTs and you want the passive to go along with it, you can get these as well. So you can get raw drivers and raw passives and build up whatever you like. So that brings us to I didn't want to put this on the screen because there's a lot of addresses over here I don't want people to see. But there's two colors. Let me fold it like this. This will give you guys an idea. So if you look at this paper right here, this is the winners of product from the original SEMA Unmasked. Everything in gray is shipped. Everything in green is still on back order, and everything in yellow has not been entered. And the reason it's in yellow and has not been entered is because, Ernie, bring up the next slide. That means it's L7X, and that's what we see there in yellow. And we can't put those into the system or order them yet because they just don't exist in a way to put them in the system because they're not here yet. But as you can see from this list, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 people from the original Unmasked waiting to win their L7X. And as soon as we get these puppies in-house, you're going to win them. You're going to get your L7X. But we can't put them in the system to order until they're in the system to order. And so that's why they're in yellow. The green, which Robert Van Hoy will appreciate because he's one of the greens that are right there, that is actually the only 3 things that are green. That's the KXMA 900.5 amplifier. So that covers everything from the original SEMA Unmasked. And the cool part about it is, really, we've shipped everything in some quantity or form. We haven't got 905s in yet, so that's an issue. And we haven't got L7Xs in yet. So that's it from the original show, which is pretty dang good if you ask me, especially considering what's been going on the last year and a half. Larry Keller, can you use the passive radiator on the L7X? Larry, you cannot not use this passive radiator on an L7X. The ability of this driver to move, otherwise its peak-to-peak excursion, far is way beyond the capability of this passive radiator. This passive radiator was designed and tuned to work with really Comp R or Comp RT subwoofers. You could also use it with CVTs. You could use it with probably CVRs. But beyond that, you would not want to use this passive radiator in our product line with anything outside that. There's just not enough throw in this to get you what you want. Could you use a passive radiator on an L7X? Yes, you just have to have one with a lot more throw than this. So you can, it's possible, you just can't use that one. Hopefully that answers your question. So, with all of that said, an L7X would turn a passive radiator into a beardy launcher. I got to show that one. An L7X would turn a passive radiator into a beardy launcher. I agree completely. And here, Flexin 500, since you brought it up, I'm gonna hit you with this one here. Thanks for the question, Flexin. Could you use a 7X cone with no former or coil as a passive? Yes, you could do that, Flexin 500. If you wanted to get, hey Timmy, where's that one at? Go throw it at me. It's a good question, Flexin. The thing when it comes to a passive radiator, you have to keep in mind that your passive radiator is going to need to be able to deflect forwards and backwards about the same capability as the woofer that you're using. So you don't want to use a passive radiator that has 10 millimeters of peak-to-peak travel with a woofer that's got 33. It just doesn't make sense. It's never going to be capable. But so like this is the spare. As you know with the L7X, it's not a matter if, it's a matter when. People who run an extreme product like this, you're going to take out a coil eventually. When you do, you just buy a replacement. So this is a replacement. If you wanted to buy a replacement and get creative on your end and use this as a passive radiator, yeah, you could do that, absolutely. Since it's basically that cone right there. You would have to do a little bit of research, a little bit of modeling, probably do quite a lot of phone calling to the guys here in tech and figure out how you would use this as a passive radiator, because I would imagine there's way too much mass on here to do what you want. You'd probably end up having to take the voice coil off and then probably start adding some mass back to get where you want to go, or maybe taking part of the voice coil off. Of course, once you do that, it's no longer a spare. It's truly just going to be a passive drone. But yeah, could you do that? Absolutely. It's just you can't use the Comp RT, TRTP passive radiator with an L7X. Just won't work. So hopefully that answers your question. Drew on this. Can you put 2 speakers in an RT or downfiring box besides using a passive radiator? Well, can you? Yes. Should you? No. The thing with that pre-made box that we have here that has the one active speaker and one passive radiator, the volume of that box is extremely small. The reason that woofer sounds as good as it does in that box and gives you bass is because of the passive radiator. It's tuning that small air chamber to get you realistic bass. If you take that passive radiator out and you put another active driver in there, you're now asking both of those speakers to work in half the airspace that the one was before. It's not going to play as deep. It's probably going to sound very, very muddy, and it's not going to sound very good at all. So can you? Yes. Should you? Absolutely not. Don't do that. If you doubled the box, you could. So if you're designing your own box and you're going to do something custom, as long as you doubled the volume, you could put 2 active drivers in there. And then if you wanted to, you could put 2 passives along for the ride. So, or you can just buy 2 pre-made boxes like Tim did and just put them both side by side in the back of his truck like he did. But yeah, the boxes we make with passive radiators, do not take the passive radiator out and put an active speaker and expect it to give you more performance. It's just not. It doesn't work that way. So hopefully that answers your question. Dr. Drew on this. I keep wanting to say Dr. Drew. So hopefully that answers a lot of those questions. Now, I do want to go over, and I've got a lot here. That's the new product from SEMA. And so that kind of covers everything there. So we know as a nutshell, no L7X yet. We've already told you we're looking Q1, Q2 for that driver, and no 5-channel KXMA yet. Everything else has come, and we've shipped some quantity of it. Now, this is a whole bunch of information about everything else. And I do know that right now finding product can be a little difficult. And so this is actually a listing I put together of basically what I'm looking at as far as availability that should be available in Kicker dealers right now, because this is products that have come in and have shipped out to the dealer base. So I'm just going to glance through this real quick, feel real Walter Cronkite here right now, and kind of let you guys know the status of other gear that's here. Oh, hey, thank you for bringing that up. Before I get to that, our Mobile Solutions winner that we announced last week's show, as everyone knows, we basically say you got 7 days to reply if you're a winner of a contest. Well, that's a pretty big contest, the Mobile Solutions show that we did with Brian over at Mobile Solutions. Our winner, Garrett, is from Massachusetts. He has yet to reply to any emails to Bill Frog. So, Garrett, if you are tuned into this show, or if any of you out there are friends of Garrett from Massachusetts, if you could reach out to him, Garrett, we need you to reply to us, because today is technically the last day before we pull a new winner. So since we're announcing it on tonight's show, I guess it's entirely possible that maybe it's going into your spam filter and you don't know it, or you haven't checked your email in a week, which would be a little strange, but I guess it's possible. But Garrett from Massachusetts, if you're listening tonight, or someone who's in the feed knows Garrett, he was drawn as the winner. We're going to give you till tomorrow at midnight. If we don't hear from you by tomorrow at midnight, then that means you have forfeited the prize, and we're going to pull another winner and announce on next Tuesday night show the winner for the Master Tech Expo, which this is a huge, huge contest winner. I mean, you're getting your seat paid for at the show, it's airfare back and forth, it's the hotel room, it's $350 cash stipend to use as you need for food or drinks, whatever you need while you're on the road. So man, Garrett, if you're out there and you're watching, or if someone out there knows Garrett, please reach out to him. You have until midnight tomorrow. If we do not hear back from you before midnight tomorrow, and I can guarantee you, because Bill's that guy, he's probably going to reach out to you again in the morning. But if we don't hear from you by midnight, you have forfeited the prize, and we will draw another winner. So please, if you're Garrett or you know Garrett, let's get Garrett in the house here and let's get a conversation going, because we need you to have you as a winner. So thank you. Thanks for reminding me, Tim. I appreciate that. So with all that said, what I'd like to do real quick is kind of let you guys know the status of some other things going on. So first thing is Bullfrogs. People love our Bullfrog 100s. It's the little round Bluetooth portable speaker product. People love that product. MBE, shout out. Hey, yeah, MBE. If you're in the house, MBE, thanks for tuning in and watching, brother. Look forward to seeing you soon. But Bullfrogs, and then another product that's really popular for us is our KB6000 speaker, which is our little 6.5 with a tweeter. It's great for under patios, eaves, things like that. If you guys are looking for any of those products for yourself, friends, or family, or anything in this holiday coming up, just to let you know, what we have left, and we don't think we're going to probably get any more before holiday, which is why we're doing this, but basically those products, you're only going to find them on the Amazon. Kicker has a store on Amazon for H&P stuff, and so those two products are going to be on the Amazon store. If you're looking for those, you'll go to kicker.com. It'll show that we're completely out. The only way to get a hold of those products or get a hold of what's left is through the Amazon store on Amazon. So if you want to go there, look for those two products. That's where you're going to find the Bullfrog 100 or the KB6s. And that's just because of holiday. If we get some more in before then, you'll probably see them back up on kicker.com. But for right now, the way it's looking, we're just making educated guesses that make sense. So right now, those two products, if you're looking for those, you want to find them, it's Amazon. That's where you're going to find those two products. So I thought that was kind of great information for you guys to know. Next, I got a whole list of stuff here. I'm going to go through it and try to give as much description as I can. But what this I'm about to go through, this is product that we've either just recently released to ship, or it's already been released and shipped. So if any of these products are on your list of what you're looking for, my advice would be to go out and hit your favorite kicker dealer or online if that's where you shop, wherever your favorite online dealer may be, because if we don't show this product on stock at kicker.com, which is highly likely because it goes into back because everything's going on, there's a lot of back order stuff, but we have got this in, it's either shipped or getting ready to ship, and so you're going to find this at your local dealers. So this is going to be pretty quick. I'm going to try to do this as fast as I can, guys. So CWR 10, 2 ohms, we've got those in. The dual CWR 12 box, the vented VCWR 12 box, the CWRT 8 inch, the L7T10 2 ohm, L7T10 4 ohm, L7T12 2 ohm, L7T10 2 ohm, the TCWRT, so that's a downfiring box, 12 inch. The TRTP, or excuse me, CWRT, that's behind the seat box, my apologies, and 12 inch. The TRTP, that's the downfiring box, 10 inch, 12 inch. The KMLC lighting controller, that's a little credit card remote with the, literally about the size of my thumb, that's the RGB lighting controller. We've got some of those in, and those have shipped out. The dual Comp R 12 inch enclosure, got some of those in, and those have shipped out. L7R 122, so 12 inch sub, 2 ohm, we've got some of those. There's a whole bunch here, I'm just going to skip through, but basically it's a bunch of entry level and OE marine speaker systems. We've got some of those in and they're available. The DSC 6704, those are now in, shipped and out. TC 104, so that's 10 inch 4 ohm, TC. That's the truck cabinet, right? So that's the 10 inch truck cabinet. So those have been getting and shipped. DCWC 102, so that's a dual enclosure comp 10s out and shipping. TC 94s in white, KMTC 94s in white. So that would be the 9 inch marine horn loaded enclosures. Some of those have come and gone. Those are very popular. 45 KM 654s, that's 6.5 inch marine speakers. Those are out. Now those are the non-LED, just the KM 654s. CSC 684s, those are in and out. That's the 6x8s. 48 VCWR 122s, that's a vented Comp R enclosure, 12 inch. Got some of those in and out in the field. PXI BT 100.2s, that's the little Power Sports Bluetooth controller, the membrane keypad, the little 100 watt amplifier. Some of those have come and been shipped out. So if you've been looking for one of those, go check your Kicker dealer. Next thing. This is HS10. So we do the Hideaway, which is the powered subwoofer, the HS8. We've been out of the HS10 for quite a while. The HS10 has come. Got quite a few of them in. We have filled dealer back orders. So if you're looking for an HS10, now is the time to hit up your dealer and say, hey, you got one. Because we've gotten some of those in and we filled back orders out of those. That's fantastic. QSC 6x9s, got some more of those in. Jimmy Pittman knows that. L7T 10.2, L7T 10.4, so that's a dual 2 and dual 4 ohm. 46 TL7T 122, so 12s. Comp RT 10s, TRTP 12s, some more of those. VC 124, so that's a vented enclosure, 12 inch 4 ohm with a comp. DCWC, so that's the dual 10 inch enclosure comp. 40 CSC 464, so that's 4x6s. CSC, so that's CS 6.5s, got some of those in as well. Comp enclosure dual 10, we got some of those. Comp enclosure 10, we got some of those in. Check your dealers. KMTC 94, some more of those, so a few more of those. Well, that'll be the black, so it's not the W. So KMTC 94s would be the 9 inch, but in black. And then TCWC 104, some more of the truck boxes. KM, help me out here, Tim. What's a KM TED?
KM
TED. Yeah, what's a TED? I'm going to skip that one, folks. I don't even know what a KM TED is. Someone here will probably find out on the website and be able to tell me. Whatever it is, we've got some. DSC 6x9, so we got some 6x9 three-ways of those. Dual DC 122s, TC1 more TC 104s, DSC 6704s, DSC 6930s, that's some more 6x9s. Another dual enclosure 10 inch comp, we got some more of those in. More of that, more of that. KMA, so this is Marine, so this is the KMA Marine amplifier, 606s. We got some of those in. I know those came and those went out to dealers immediately. If you're looking for one of those, hit up your Kicker dealer. I know we have none here in Kicker at all, but we have shipped what we got into stock, and those are out in a dealer's store. This is cool here. CX amplifiers, so 360.4s, those are now out in Kicker dealers. 660.5, that's out in your Kicker dealers. 800.1s and 400.1s.
The TEDs are the empty dual enclosures for the Marine.
Oh, thank you, Tim. So the TED is the empty dual enclosures for Marine and speakers. It's just, yeah, there it is. Hey, JDSK8, JD Skater. I'll say that's what it sounds like it says. Thank you, sir. That's what it is. Trust me, it's hard for me to know every part number here memorized. So I do the best I can, guys. But, you know, we got a healthy dose of CX amplifiers that have come in and shipped out to dealers. So if you're looking for a CX amplifier, go hit up your dealer because there's some out there. Comp 12s and 4 ohms. Some more of those. Some downfiring, the Comp downfiring boxes. We got some of those in, more. CWR 120, some more Comp R woofers, 12-inch 2 ohm. Got some of those in. Quite a bunch of woofers there, which is good. Very good. Some 1201 CX, more CX amplifiers, some 1200 ones and some 1800 ones. So those amplifiers have hit, they were tested, they were released, and those are going out to our Kicker dealers. I don't think we have a single one here in stock. They're all going to dealers. And again, like I say, just because you get kicker.com and it says there's none here doesn't mean there's not any at a dealer. You got to go check. It's our policy. We fill all of our dealers' needs first before we keep anything to go on kicker.com. So keep that in mind. Some more this one here is just some more 800, so that's good. A lot more 800 ones came in. So a lot of information. I know it's probably boring just to read from that sheet of paper. I didn't really know any other way to let you guys know. But what we're doing, just so you know, is we're doing everything we can as fast as we can to get product in and get it out to our dealers so that you guys can get product for your builds, whatever you happen to be building, whether it's an ATV, UTV, car, boat, motorcycle, whatever it is. You know, we're trying to get those products out in your hands. So that's product that's out there. Go check your dealer for that. And like I said, the Bullfrogs and the KB6s, I thought it was important to let you guys know that any stock on those will be through the Amazon store, the Kicker Amazon store. So go there to check for those, especially with holiday season coming up. People tend to buy a lot of those two things for holiday. And if you want to get those, that's where you're going to find them, is on the Amazon store for right now. So with that said, I'm going to draw tonight's winners. And then if there's anybody that has some questions, or if Jeremy's found a couple good questions, we'll go ahead and take those from the field. I'd just like to get the winners announced before 9 o'clock here. And then if we have a few questions, we'll get those out. And then we will wrap up the show. Probably the most important thing, I think, Tim, for reminding me, was letting know Garrett. Man, Garrett, seriously, if you're watching or if anyone out there knows Garrett, please get him in touch with Bill, social@kicker.com. We need you to contact us back or we're going to draw another prize winner. So with that said, anyone who's watched the show more than once knows how this goes. Bill, do we have any winners tonight? Yep, we got some winners tonight. I'm going to go take a look here real quick. You know, I always pretend like you guys don't know what you're winning because I didn't know that Bill posted everything you win when you entered. So third place tonight, you're getting a set of EB300 wireless earbuds. You're going to get a Kicker car tag, and you're going to get a Kicker Unmasked Live t-shirt. That's awesome. Second place tonight, you're going to get a set of Tabor 2s. That's the on-ear Bluetooth wireless headphones. Kicker car tag as well, and then one of the limited edition Kicker Unmasked Live t-shirts. And then, whoa, ho, 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 ho. Tonight's grand prize, you already know because you entered. Some lucky person tonight's walking away with a set of the Snowman pods. Over here to my right side that Timmy had up earlier on a close-up. You're going to win a set of the KS MT 2504s, and let me tell you, that's probably the last pair that exist. I don't know how Jeremy got them. You're going to get a Kicker car tag, and then we're going to hook you up with a Kicker limited edition Unmasked Live t-shirt. So that is what is on the plate for tonight. So Bill, do me a favor and tell me who is winner number 3 on tonight's Kicker Unmasked Live weekly show. Winner number 3 is Brian T. from Washington. Brian T., you are our third place winner tonight. Congratulations and thank you. You want a set of EB300s, that license plate tag, and a Kicker Unmasked Live t-shirt. As always, the contest is completely rigged. We do not draw a winner if you're 25 hertz to light or deviant. And Brian, I don't think you're either one, so you're a winner tonight. I'll say this right now for all of our winners, and I'll also do it again when we get to first place. Need you to reach out to an email that will be coming to you from Bill, social@kicker.com if you want to do the initiation, but Bill will contact you in the morning. What he's going to need from you is your shipping address. It cannot be a P.O. box, so please give us an address that is not a P.O. box. We need a phone number. And in all sincerity, we do not use that phone number for any marketing purposes. We simply need the phone number so that we can put that with the shipper. It doesn't matter how we ship your package to you, whether it's FedEx, UPS, USPS, DHL, or Carrier Pigeon. The people on the other end, they want a phone number to get a hold of you in case they can't find your location or they need to arrange for you to come pick it up at the hub. So give us that phone number. It'll go into the shipping info. And sincerely, we don't use it for any other marketing purposes. There's nothing else we use your phone number for. And then last but not least, please confirm your shirt size. As everyone here knows, it's kind of standard pattern. If you accidentally hit the medium button and you're an extra large kind of guy, we want to make sure you get the right shirt. So just confirm your shirt size as you can, because sometimes that drop down box, you can accidentally click the wrong size as you're hurrying to get back to the show. So thank you for being our winner tonight. Let's move on to winner number dos. Bill, who do we have winning the Tabers tonight? Winner number 2 is John P. from Texas. John P., thank you for watching the show tonight. You are our lucky second place winner this evening. You're getting the Tabor 2 headphones, you're getting the Kicker tag, and you're getting that Unmasked live event t-shirt. Follow the same instructions I just gave for winner number 3. Address, no P.O. box, phone number, confirm your shirt size. Bill will reach out to you tomorrow with an email. If you want to reach this way, social@kicker.com. And last but not least, the KSMT 2504 is the winner chicken dinner getting the snowman. Bill, who is it? Tonight's grand prize winner is Raymond W. from Kentucky. Congratulations, Raymond. You are our grand prize winner tonight. You're winning a set of those Snowmen mid-tweeter pods. You're getting the Kicker license tag frame as well. And of course, one of those Kicker Unmasked live event t-shirts. The only way to get one of those shirts is to watch the show on Tuesday. So thank you for tuning in and thank you for watching. We certainly appreciate it. With all of that said, JW, have there been any questions you've kind of stockpiled or anything there that you want to throw up on the screen? We're good? Okay. He says we're good. I don't see anything up on the screen. I'm going to take a real quick look here to see if I see anything. Oh, you know, it's always good to stay to the end of the show. It's always good to stay to the end of the show. Hey, Ernie, I need you to bring up my laptop as an asset and tell me when you're ready. You ready? I'm ready. Okay. So for those of you who've hung around to the end of the show, I know this is what everyone's excited, this is what everyone's talking about, this is what everyone would like to see is the new L7X. This is actually some slow-mo video that our own Jesse Bale captured back in one of the labs. As you can see, this is a 12 putting a little bit of work on the floor. It's going to be an amazing speaker when it hits. There you can see, we're throwing a little juice to it. It's actually bouncing up off the floor and wiggling the speaker wire. But this is a legit prototype. Now this is a prototype, it's not the final, but you know, we have to make a bunch of prototypes to get to the final. But here is one right here doing its thing. And the 12, we're looking on the L7X, this driver is going to be 3.3 inches peak to peak mechanical travel. And as you can see, those patented ribs in the corner and everything there, it keeps everything very well controlled. You don't see a lot of surround buckling. You don't see a lot of odd things happening with that speaker that you may see on other products like that. But I wanted to show that video, and I guess I'll keep it here to the end to show all the people who hang around. I know Mike Craner and Steve Kelly, I see you there. Yeah, it's definitely Bradley. I'm assuming you mean the speaker, Bradley, because my wife says no. But it's awesome that we're able to show that little video right there. I know you guys are always looking to get as much input and see what we're doing here, and I thought it'd be nice to run that video tonight and show you that. So with all that said, I'm looking down my notes right here. I don't see anything that I've missed. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. You had a lot of great questions at the beginning. I know we can't get to every question. We try to do everything we can to get to them. If you have any deeper technical questions and you seriously need help with it, as always, reach out to our tech support team here at KICKER. They're available Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. They are here to help you design boxes for your KICKER product, answer technical questions, wiring questions, whatever you've got. These guys are experienced. They know what they're doing. They can help you out. And if they don't have the answer, they're right here in the same building with R&D. They can definitely go ask the right people to see what's going on. So questions beyond the scope of the show, man, please reach out to KICKER Tech Support so you can get your answers. So with that said, as always, it's my pleasure to be the host of Kip Litzy here on You to get it right and wrong at the same time on the camera with the TV. But it's always my pleasure to be here. We got Tim doing his thing behind the cameras. Thank you, Tim, for a great job tonight and getting some close-ups of the gear to my right. We got Ernie in the back trying to keep him from sleeping. He didn't play too much red eye tonight and make me chase cameras, so I know he's not doing much work back there. Now, he's been busy keeping up with photos. I know that's not true. JW, thank you for pulling up all the stuff from the StreamYard feed. I certainly appreciate that. And Bill Frog, as always, he's cruising the social feed, drawing the winners and keeping things on check. It's my pleasure. The 5 of us here in the studio, we just represent the 200-plus employees here at Stillwater Designs and Audio, or as you know as KICKER, right here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Enjoyed the show with you. Hope you did as well. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a safe and fun weekend, and we will see you next Tuesday night, 7:30 Central Time, right here on the KICKER Facebook and YouTube channels with another 90-minute fun-packed something that we don't really know, but you're going to enjoy it. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Kippolicious. Be sure you get that schmedium every Tuesday night. Full tilt boogie. Kippolicious. Good evening, everyone. Twisted Tea. Good evening, everyone. Be sure you get that schmedium. Twisted Tea. Hippopotamus. Cold beverage. Schmedium. Midler. Out in BFE. Out in BFE. At the end of the day, full. Good evening, everyone. Tuesday.